All right, welcome back to another Forge video here. It's been a little bit, uh, and I apologize only because I have been a little bit burnt out of Halo and forging and all that kind of stuff. Just been playing random games. But we're back, so I want to talk about what I've just finished here, and it's a campaign Forge template for campaign style maps, which are the maps that you'll find on my channel that I make and kind of set it up the way I make them too. And I'm going to go into detail on everything here to explain it in case you do decide to download and use this. So it'll give you a better idea. Although I do have these little tip boxes in here that I kind of just, there's no other way to write anything in this game, so I kind of just use these boxes. So if you go to them, for instance, it'll say read the tip below, add your music tracks in the play music track node, stuff like that. Just little tips for people who are not familiar. Area monitors can be triggered by players entering on foot or by vehicle, etc. And they all have like a little bit of helpful information as we go here, but I'll go kind of start the beginning. I'll explain everything and then kind of just run through it to show you. Um, so back here is like a little bit of the back end stuff, just explaining some things. We'll start with just over here. I kind of just laid out all the objects that typically I use. These are the kind that you can just come and copy and paste because there's no real settings in them yet. I mean, the base settings are applied, but they're not linked to any scripts. There's no um, nothing you need to worry about by just duplicating and using from scratch. However, over here, and I did leave this on a note, you never want to duplicate a brain that has scripting in it. It can cause problems, so just do not do that. Um, there's a empty fresh brain over here. If you want to just quickly duplicate these ones, that's fine. So that's kind of what this section is for, if you want to just go grab an object that you will likely be using often. But yeah, that's that. Over here, I kind of just wanted to include a little tip um, as far as objects themselves go. You'll have two kind of versions, a static and a dynamic. You can scale the static, you cannot scale the dynamic, and you can use dynamic in scripting. You can reference only dynamic objects. You will not be able to reference anything static. So just keep that in mind. If you want to like spawn in objects, delete objects via scripts, you have to use dynamic, unfortunately. But it's pretty basic stuff. Collision, non-collision. This is a collision object. Non-collision, you kind of get the idea. These are useful as you kind of just detail your map, put things around, and you don't want players to get like stuck on wires or whatever. Just stuff like that. It also saves on budget. But that's that. Scripting is over here. Not going to get too much into this because it's just kind of a lot. These are just the encounters, which I will explain as we go. Encounter 1, 2, 3, 4. I set it up for 4 encounters, but you can add more in if you'd like. Again, as we go, I will explain. Kind of miscellaneous scripts up top, like skulls, music, which are all set up also. Not every skull is set up, but some of them are as they are labeled. So if you pick up this one, bandana, it will activate bandana. So just try to incorporate as much help as possible with this map, and that's the whole idea, really. But we can just go ahead and start with the actual map itself. So it's got sections, basically just encounters. So this is the intro section. This is kind of where you'll just spawn in and progress to the first encounter, which is right here. Now you'll have your respawns right here, obviously in each encounter. And then you're going to see a bunch of these, which are pointers, area monitors that trigger scripts, basically. And I will just kind of say what they do in the most basic way I possibly can. So you cross this line here, it will activate your nav, which is the nav point. It will say, uh, and it will also create UI messages. For instance, when you go through, it will say, advance to the objective, A, and it will just be like right here, like an A. So when you go through here, activate the nav and create a message. As soon as we walk through here, cross this line, it will stop the initial game music and wait about 10 seconds to start the next encounter's music. That's just the way I did it for this one. Here we've got encounter one, teleport all players. Plus it says plus nav point, which is just where the where that nav marker A will be linked to. And as soon as you walk through it, it will go away. Um, so yeah, if you're the first person to walk through here, you'll teleport everybody else. Cross this last line, it will trigger the first encounter. And also it will delete those spawns and use these ones here. Um, so now we're encounter one. You're going to get a couple sets of AI here. Um, I've got encounter one alpha unit. I kind of just use Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta, 4 units that will be involved with scripts. Now, units that really won't be involved with scripts will be listed kind of like this. Ads, like anytime you see ads or no script after kill, I try and be specific again. They won't really do anything. And I always reference, this is just something that I do in my maps just because I use Quebec for spawners that do not, again, that are not in any brains, that are not related to scripts, that you just spawn in and that's it. And you can do whatever. Um, now, let's see here. The first unit will spawn about 10 seconds later. The ads will come in. After you kill, the script is set up to spawn in this phantom after you kill alpha unit. So alpha will die, then Bravo will spawn in. After you kill Bravo, you've got Charlie, which is the boss of this section. Um, and they will use these points to move around. These are what these move zones do. Um, Now, I also have a vehicle blocker here. Just, you don't, I mean, it's just kind of to explain that you can use it if you want to, which will just prevent people from progressing to the next encounter with a vehicle. You'll have to just go on foot. So that will stay. This pink one is a player blocker. Players cannot walk through this. That's just a glitch. I don't know why it does that. But really, this will be here. Players cannot walk through this until the boss dies. That will get deleted in this script. So then after that, you'll also get another UI message telling you to go over here to encounter 2, as labeled in the name at the top, which you can see in the bottom. Again, it will delete the previous spawners, use these, and kind of do the same thing with these pointers as we've been kind of doing over here, which is spawning the encounter, stopping the music, starting the music, etc. This is kind of set up like a firefight wave with a wave manager in the script. Again, I'm not going to get too much into scripting here. This is just kind of giving you an idea how to use this stuff for a map. But essentially, once all of these spawners die, they'll kind of just go. It's set up in like in an order kind of, and I have them labeled here. So encounter 2, AI wave 3, AI wave 2, AI wave 2, AI wave 1. So they'll come in that kind of order there. And then these are just ads again. They're not going to be relevant to the script. So then once all of these are dead, we'll delete this blocker. we'll be able to advance to your encounter 3, or what I like to call the encounter transition, or where I would like to do something like a jump puzzle, or you know, just a driving section, something where it's not like an encounter, you know. But again, same kind of deal, new spawners, same pointers that do the same things. These are just for nav mesh, so that, which is already set up, by the way, you don't need to worry about this. Um, on this, at least, you will be placing these on your own map so that AI know what to do, know where to go, know that it's playable terrain. And once you have all of those set up, once your map is completely built, then you just do this. You build your nav mesh, and that will it'll kind of load all of that in. Again, we got some more skulls. You pick these up. You know, you do whatever you want with them. Obviously, you can put them wherever, but they're already set up to do and activate what the name says. So now I wasn't just gonna go and just make encounter after encounter, but because you can just kind of make your own with this stuff. That's the whole point. So I just labeled here rinse and repeat for X encounters. However many more encounters you want to do, that is up to you. But if you do, just make sure, and again, there's a note here that says, if you read it like this, um, to just delete one little nav marker if you're adding encounters in between here, just because I have a nav already set up for the final encounter at this point right here. So you'll go through, it'll tell you to come to activate the final boss, which is this. I use a little effect just because it's cool. Otherwise, because this is an invisible script switch, it'll just, if you come up to this, it'll look like you need to activate the orb. So you activate it, orb gets deleted, boss spawns in. It is that simple. These are just ads. It really is that simple. And I have these kill balls here just for testing purposes. You'll see when I'm walking through to make sure the respawns work. That is the only purpose for those. But that's it. I mean, you will just kind of, like I said, pull from this into your map over here. I would recommend just building your entire map first, like just without doing any spawning, any. Obviously, have an idea of where you want to put all of it, where you want things to spawn, where you want your vehicles. Um, but don't worry about all of this until you're done, and then you can kind of just pull them in if you want to do that. Um, don't really duplicate any of this stuff, just because it's all kind of, I mean, you could, but it could mess up scripting. It has for me in the past. It's a little bit inconsistent. So if you want to duplicate stuff, use these over here. These are just kind of bare and plain. Um, but if you want to spawn in new spawners, I recommend just going in and getting them. Gameplay AI spawners. Okay. So now at this point, I will do a quick walkthrough of the map so that you can see.